But no, shot, hurt, bleeding, Boyd continues on to try to stop this whole mess. I need the whole damn town to give Boyd his props. If Boyd would have put Sarah in the box, the whole town would have been dead. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be recapping from season 2, episode 10, the series finale. This is our second go round with a series finale. And do y'all think they gave us any answers? Connected any dots? Stay tuned and we will see. Now, at the top of the episode, we have Kenny and Christy pulling up to Kenny's mom's house to check on Julie. Once they get inside of the house, we see Boyd. We see my man Boyd, child. And when I tell y'all, I was feeling like Boyd was cracking up. I feel like he was cracking under the pressure. And Boyd is under quite a lot of pressure. They come in to the house and Boyd is like staring at the floor, staring at the spot where Julie fell at. Pretty much just standing there, kind of just staring off into the abyss. I feel like his battery looked like it may be a little low. Hope is a little low. Like, I don't know. I did not know where the hell this was going to go. But they walk in and Boyd, sends them upstairs, sends Christy upstairs. Christy goes upstairs to check on Julie. And Kenny comes over and tries to say something to Boyd, but he can't even get the sentence out because Boyd is just like, you should just go upstairs just in case they need you. And Boyd walks out of the house and we have Jade sitting on the front porch, and Jade is a character I really like, and I feel like this is how you do an obnoxious character, but in a likable way. But we do get to see one of his more vulnerable moments, which we don't really see Jade concerned about anybody else. He's pretty much always a jerk to people. And yeah, he's been trying to, figure out how to get out of here. But I feel like he never really shows any real concern for anyone. But in this moment, he does. He's talking to Boyd and he's pretty much like, Julie should be picking at a prom dress at this age, not up there, laid out in some weird coma-like state. He doesn't really finish, his thought as he's talking. And we end up having a situation where Boyd has to connect some dots, right? He has to get to a certain point because we're trying to figure out how to stop this thing, this whole Nightmare on Elm Street, we can't sleep scenario that we have now found ourselves in, right? And I feel like the episode could have, used some more runtime to really flesh this out and make Boyd come into this epiphany kind of make more sense. But it was fine. Now, where I feel like he was first starting to really connect things, and maybe not even connect things, but starting to understand the route he needs to go, we have Jade saying that the problem is there is just way too much that we don't know, right? Which I thought was kind of ironic considering the fact that nobody ever talked to nobody about what they know. We never share information. But Jade goes into talking about how the situation they are in, trying to solve this is pretty much like starting a book from the middle, trying to piece a puzzle together when you only have a few pieces, and not even the good pieces, no pieces around the edges, just random pieces. And how if you can at least get 2 pieces that connect, that can be a starting point. And you kind of can see Boyd kind of spinning his wheels a bit when Jade says this. And I feel like that whole find at least 2 pieces that connect is where we're going to end up at a certain spot. So we'll bring this back up later. But Kenny follows out of the house and Boyd starts to walk away, and Kenny is kind of like, where you going? And Boyd is just like, we need to talk to Sarah. And I'm glad that we finally not only made Sarah useful, but brought back that connection she supposedly has with this place. Because I was literally just saying in my last video that it sure seemed like that connection just went away. Like this place is just not talking to her no more. But we bring that back in this episode. Now they end up having Boyd and Kenny go off to talk to Sarah. But then we cut to Donna, Dale, and Elgin going to look for Randall. Y'all! I guess I was wrong. I guess I was premature in my hope that goddamn Randall was dead, child. I got a little too overzealous. Because, y'all, my last video, I was like, ding dong, the witch is dead. I thought Randall ass was out of here. And I know he went into that state of what Julie and Marielle went into. But I thought Randall was dead. And I mean, you out in the forest at night. What the hell was them monsters when you need them? I'm so mad. But we have Donna, Dale, and Elgin out there looking for Randall. And baby, I'm with Dale. Because Dale is like, what is we looking for this nigga? He an asshole. Don't nobody like him. But Donna does make a point. And she's like, Dale, you an a-hole too. But I wouldn't leave you out here. And well, Dale, you did stab somebody. So we'll let this slide. And we gonna go look for Randall. And Donna ends up sending Dale off one way to go look. And then her and Elgin go off another way. And she starts to tell Elgin, you know, thank him for coming out to help. And I thought this ain't made no sense. Elgin gonna say, well, I'm glad to finally be useful. You glad to finally be useful? Boy, didn't you hop out the house at night amongst monsters to take Ellis to the clinic and save his life? Baby, you been being useful. Didn't you subdue Reggie ass when he was flipping out like, Elgin buddy, you've been pretty useful, okay? But Donna ends up telling him that he was useful with remembering his dream and that maybe that dream will lead them out of here. And Elgin kind of just like, no, yeah, okay. I kind of felt like he didn't even believe it. And this is when we hear Dale calling out to them. And we find Randall ass not ripped up by the how the hell the monsters like these is some oh god y'all I need Randall to die. I am so annoyed to think about another season with that character. Like, why do we kill off likable characters but keep the insufferable characters? Like, why we kill Khatri but Randall is alive? Like, I don't understand. Oh, now when they go to grab Randall, he starts screaming. And I need Randall to remember every little bit of what he done went through. Because that buffoonery he was pulling, and I feel like if I'm Donna, I ain't gonna ever trust him. Like, I don't care. I'm not gonna trust him. Because if it wasn't for Boyd, I would have been dead. You tied me to a tree and I would have been dead. But Randall starts screaming at the top of his lungs. They cut to Julie screaming at the top of her lungs as Christy is looking over her, telling her parents, okay, you know, she breathing, she's taking some good breaths. Then she just starts screaming and everybody starts freaking out. And Marielle as well starts screaming. And we have Ellis and Fatima in a room with her. Now, we have Kenny, Boyd, and Sarah in the woods. And I kind of was like wondering why Kenny even here. Like, he hate this girl. He hates Sarah. So I was kind of like, Kenny, why is you even here? Like, you gave her a gun last episode and, you know, told her to just end it all. But we're walking in the woods, and this is where I said I feel like Boyd was connecting dots from what Jade said. Because remember, Jay talked about how if we at least had two pieces that fit together, the two pieces that at this point Boyd has pieced together, which he goes into telling Sarah, is that Sarah told Boyd that a little boy in white told her to get him into that tree, which led him to that little dungeon place with Martin. And he also tells her that Elgin had a dream with that nursery rhyme where he saw that same boy in white. So this is our two pieces that we're connecting. We have a common thread of the boy in white. Now, I feel like I'm pretty sure we have established at this point that the boy in white is good. Sarah even mentions when Boyd says, can you tell me anything else about the boy in white? She's like, well, he was trying to help us. I feel like we have pretty much established that the boy in white is here to help. But I'm confused on that theory when the boy in white is the one that led Boyd to Martin, which led to Boyd bringing this thing back to town, which I guess you could argue maybe the boy in white didn't necessarily lead to that. He just told them to get in that tree because that would get them out of there, and we never know where the tree gonna take us. But even if he knew the tree would take Boyd to Martin, you can also argue that it was Boyd's own stupidity for not listening to Martin and getting the heck up out of Dodge City and just killing him like he wanted. But I don't know. I don't trust nothing when it comes to this show, so we feel like the boy in white is here for our good, but I'm not completely sold on that theory. Now, when Sarah ends up telling Boyd that the boy in white, is here to help, Boyd goes into, okay, so we got a little boy walking around a magical forest doing good, but Sarah says, Sarah says, well, I don't really think he's a little boy. And she doesn't really elaborate, but I would presume he's obviously not real. So it's safe to say he's not an actual child. I would say maybe he's some kind of entity. Like, we don't even really know much about this town, so I don't even know how to really fill in these blanks, but he's some type of entity that just takes the form of a little boy. That's what I'm thinking Sarah meant. Now, they get to the place where Boyd found Martin at, and he's trying to explain to him Boyd is trying to explain to Kenny and Sarah where everything was, and he's talking about certain stuff, and he looks at Sarah and he's like, what's wrong? Because she, is kind of looking crazy, and that's when Sarah says, it's here. I can hear the music. The music box is here. And she goes to this certain spot and she starts to kind of like dig a bit, but she's like, the music box is here. I hear the music. But Boyd is just like, I don't see nothing. Nothing is here. And remember, I kind of felt like, and this is also why I say, on one hand, they could have connected the dots better. Well, they could have shown Boyd going through more connecting dots to get to where he got to. But at the same time, honestly, I connected the dots in this moment. Remember when Boyd was in that, y'all don't even know what that place was. Cave, tower, dungeon, wherever he was at when he found Martin. Remember, Martin was hanging on the wall. Boyd heard the music, went around and saw the music box sitting in that corner. And what we see now is not that place, but we have these stone pieces out here. When Sarah said she heard the music box and she knelt down on the ground next to one of those stone things, I said, I bet you that place is still here. We got to find a way to be able to see it. I just felt like that was pretty easy. Because Sarah is telling us it's here. That means it's here, but Boyd can't see it with his eyes. So I just kind of feel like that's why I say they could have done better, but at the same time, it panned out just fine because we know the box is here, but we can't see it with our eyes. And it's also something else Boyd says that I feel like helped him to connect the dots, which we'll get to. Now, in this situation, Sarah's nose starts bleeding and she I think she grabbed her head. She was like in pain and she was saying they're screaming, they're in pain, they're in agony. And she gets up and she is killing over. Kenny just standing there and Boyd is like, help me. They go to try and carry her and get her away from here, but she stops them. And Sarah says, it's laughing at you. It's laughing at you for setting it free and bringing it to town. And she says that it wants to hurt us. It wants to torture us. And she says that it got excited when it touched your arm, referring to Kenny. And remember, Kenny's arm got burned in that dream. How the hell would Sarah even know that? And Sarah ends up telling Boyd that Julie and the others are dying right now. Like, that is what's happening. And if they die, then that's it. It's too late. So that's kind of our time scale that we are working with right now. This is where they cut back to Colony House and we see Donna walking through the house, just kind of, looking amongst people. And let me tell you, child, for folks that ain't had no sleep for at least 24 hours, because this started the previous day. We made it through the night and now, it's daytime again. For folks that ain't had no sleep for at least 24 hours, these folks look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like, nobody look like they is going off no sleep, in my opinion. Like, nobody. The only person look ragged is Reggie, and baby, it's a reason for that. And it ain't the lack of sleep. But we end up seeing that old lady, like, in the prayer circle with a group or whatever. And we end up seeing Donna go up to Mathis, which I ain't know the man name to this episode. Mathis, child. No, Matthias. My bad. Matthias. The guy who we always see with the shotgun guarding the door. Is that a shotgun or a rifle? I kind of don't know the difference between a shotgun and a rifle. That's either a shotgun or a rifle that he always has and be guarding the door. But she goes up to Matthias and she tells him to take all the guns and put them in the shed. She don't want guns in the house. She says that we made it through the night, now we got to make it through the day. And presumably, people going off no sleep, people scared, so she don't want no guns around because, folks might start cracking up, even though at this point, ain't nobody cracking but goddamn Reggie. But I'm just go ahead and jump ahead for a second. This ain't make no sense to me. In this scene, we don't see Reggie nowhere. It was a few moments in this episode where I felt like this is too convenient. How the hell does Reggie even know where these folks is at? Reggie ends up going to get the guns when Matthias is hiding in the shed. How the hell Reggie knew Matthias was putting any guns in the shed? How Reggie know Matthias was over there at the shed? And none of that made no sense. It's also a time, I'm just finna jump ahead, when Reggie find Boyd. How the hell he knew Boyd was all the way out there, child? Because Boyd was outside of town. And those moments was just too contrived for me. Like, I just feel like there is no way Reggie knew all that stuff was happening. Like, how the hell you found everybody, child? But anyway, let's go back. Okay, let's get back to the spot we at. But I just had to say that because that irked me. Because I saw the episode twice, and the second time I watched it, I was really trying to look like, baby, did I just miss Reggie somewhere in this scene? Overhearing Donna tell Matthias to put them guns in that shed? But no, I did not miss that. Baby, he wasn't there. So it ain't made no sense that he knew we was putting the guns, whatever. Now they end up cutting to Tabitha and Jim, who are, sitting with their daughter, Julie. And Jim and Tabitha end up going out in the hall because Tabitha wants to tell Jim something. Y'all. Yeah, Jim, the way he was in this scene, I feel like, you know what? And this might be a little unfair. I feel like every everything Jim do just be pissing me off, but I feel like it's one of those things where you already don't like somebody, so every little thing they do just piss you off. Maybe it's that. But Tabitha ends up telling Jim about the whole situation with Victor's mom, right? How Victor's mom thought that going to this tower and saving these kids was the way home. When I tell you, Jim gonna say, I don't understand. Jim, you don't understand nothing. Like, literally, you don't understand nothing. I don't understand. You don't understand nothing, Jim. But Tabitha ends up saying, that she needs to do this. She wants to complete what Victor's mom was trying to do. This is when Boxhead Jim got the nerve to say, I had a theory about this place and it almost got me killed. No, Jim, you was a dumbass and that almost got you killed. And when Tabitha says this is different, and Jim is just like, how? It's different, bruh. And it's different because Tabitha has actually been paying attention to this place. She is taking things that she has learned here and piecing it together. That is very different from you just pulling wild theories out your behind. But Jim ends up saying that Victor's mother left for this thing and she never came back. That whatever she went to do, she didn't make it. And Victor had to grow up here alone. This was another reason Jim was pissing me off. Jim literally says Victor's mother left and never came back and Victor had to grow up here alone. So why are you such an a-hole to Victor? Like, why would you not have more compassion for him? Saying Victor had to grow up here alone, his mom never came back. And the thing that irks me with Jim, you don't have to like nobody. You don't have to like, he doesn't have to like Victor. But he treats Victor and be looking at Victor like he just like the scum of the earth. Like, Jim really has a chip on his shoulder. He has like a disgust and a disdain when it comes to Victor. There's just a certain level of just humanity you can have for people, even if you don't necessarily quote unquote like them. But he be looking at damn Victor like, y'all. But anyway, he ends up, telling Tabitha, Victor's mom didn't come back. What if that happens to you? And I kind of feel like, well, you a backup plan, bro. If I don't come back, our kids won't be raised alone. They got their daddy. But Tabitha just feels very strongly about this, and she pretty much just wants Jim's approval. Felt like she was asking, his permission, but I'll just say approval. Kind of the same thing. But Jim got on my nerve again because Tabitha goes downstairs to talk to Victor, and she asks Victor if he knows how to get to the tower. And he says, I don't know, but I know how to get to the bottle tree. And Jim is like, the what? I really want to be like, Jim, if you don't shut the fuck up. God damn, Jim, just shut up. I can't stand Jim. And like Victor goes to go through the drawings, the pictures, and Jim's facial expression, he was rolling his eyes. He looked so annoyed. Like, it was getting on my last freaking nerves. Like, Jim, oh God, y'all. Jim is just one of those people that I really need him just put in his place one good time. Jim has yet to thank Victor for saving his wife's life and saving his daughter's life. And baby, Victor better than me. Because I'll be like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Like, he has yet to even acknowledge that in the slightest, and it irks my nerves. Now, Victor ends up telling Tabitha, and I love this scene because it really felt like, because Jim was like the what and all in the background, but it really felt like Victor wasn't studying him. Victor was just talking to Tabitha. Like, Jim, you a non-motherfucking factor. Like, nobody's even paying no attention to you. But Victor ends up telling Tabitha he doesn't know how to get to the tower, but he knows how to get to the bottle tree. And the bottle tree is how you get to the tower. And she asks Victor to take her there. And we end up cutting to Kenny and Boyd, right? And after Sarah gives us the information, Boyd wants to just head back to town. And Kenny is feeling like we can't just go back to town. The music box is here. We have to figure something out. People's lives are at stake. Which I kind of felt like, Kenny, you got some motherfucking nerve. And that was obviously Boyd's attitude, because Boyd is like, I don't need you to tell me what's at stake. And honestly, I agreed with Boyd's course of action in this situation. Boyd tells Kenny, I don't need you to give me a reminder of what's at stake, that there is nothing we can do here at the moment. We know more than we knew this morning, and that's a win. We know the box is here, but we can't even see it. We don't know how to begin to see it. He says that there are things happening beyond their current understanding, which I completely agree with. Like, what the hell we gonna do? Dig in the dirt? That is very illogical, because the music box is here, but it ain't here. You know what I mean? Kind of like the upside down in Stranger Things. Like, it's here, but it ain't like with us here. So I agree with Boyd. Let's go back. Let's regroup. Let's try to figure something out. But at the same time, I do get it, because we got a time crunch. But I agree with Boyd. There was really nothing we could do right now. He tells Kenny that at this point, we need to just keep people calm and help them to be, feel less afraid. Now, they end up cutting to Ellis and Reggie. Now, child, I liked Reggie last episode, because Reggie was over dramatic as hell. He was goddamn hysterical, and I literally laughed out loud every time he was on the screen. Now, Reggie sitting outside the house. I ain't never seen no white boy named Reggie, but here we are. Ellis comes up behind him, and Ellis is just like, are you all right? And Reggie's like, why do people ask that question when they already know the answer? And I can agree with that, because anytime somebody have, like something traumatic happen, and I be trying to check on them, I always say, how are you? Or are you all right? I mean, I know you not, but that's what people say in these situations. Like, I don't know what else it's like. You kind of don't know how to break the ice or go into, starting an open dialogue with the person, other than saying, how are you? Or are you all right? Duh, the person ain't all right. And duh, how are they? Not good. But you kind of don't know no other way to kind of, go into a conversation with them. So Reggie goes into, he was downstairs cooking like an idiot, and Paula, which is the lady name, and it was crazy to me how they was throwing names out this episode that I ain't never heard. Like, suddenly the guy that's always guarding the door is Matthias. Suddenly the girl that died in her sleep is Paula. Child, I ain't never heard them names, but here we are. But he goes in to say that she was the one, that knew how to handle a crisis, because Ellis apologizes for having to lock him in that room, but Reggie is like, I lost my ish. And baby, Ellis goes to say that the situation is nobody's fault that happened with Paula. And I don't know what be wrong with people. Are other people oblivious, or am I just very intuitive? Because it be so confusing when folks can't read the other person. When Ellis says it's nobody's fault, baby, the way Reggie looked at him and the way he said, yes, nobody's fault. Like, the way he was talking, like, that whole demeanor was off. His whole tone was off. Reggie saying, yeah, nobody's fault. His facial expression, he was damn near looking like he placing fault on somebody. And I don't know why the hell Ellis ain't peeped that. Like, it's so confusing to me anytime I see stuff where people can't read the other person. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, are people really that oblivious? You can tell. You can see the writing on the wall that Reggie was about to go do some hysterical-ish. Y'all saw first of all, you saw how he was flipping out last night. Probably 10 hours prior. You think that ish is over? Now, we end up having Fatima come over, and she ends up telling Ellie she wants to get married now. She wants to get married today, that pretty much the feeling around town is that this is it. This is the end. And she feels like, if this is the end, I want to end with you. So she said, meet me at the altar and we finna get married. Now, they end up cutting to Jade at the bar, and he ended up just breaking glass, and he picks up broken glass trying to piece it together, and I was like, what the hell is you doing? This don't make no sense. But then he sees dead Tom, the bartender. And this seeing dead Tom, dead Father Cartry, it really irks me. Like, I don't think it's a good idea for the show. Like, it just gets on my nerve, but whatever. And he goes through this conversation with Tom of he's doing this because he's trying to change his thinking. He's trying to come up with some ideas. He's trying to figure out a different way to look at that symbol. It's like a thought experiment is what he says. And Dead Tom, which I thought Dead Tom was like just a manifestation of the evil in this place trying to lead Jay to his death. Dead Tom ends up being like, you know what you gotta do? Tabitha told you she saw that symbol in the tunnels. And Jade, of course, feels like going into the tunnels would be completely insane. It doesn't make any sense. And he brings up the fact that Tom went, to a collapsing house to save somebody that wasn't even there. But Tom feels like he would do it again because you don't make moral choices based on like an expected outcome. You do it because it's the right thing to do. And Tom feels like the natural thing is for there to be something to find in the tunnels, because anything that is precious or should be protected, nature hides behind something, right? Like he says, your brain is behind your skull, your heart is behind your rib cage, etc., etc. But Jade ends up saying there's nothing natural about this place, but Tom disagrees, and he says, no, there's nothing familiar about this place, and that there is a difference. Now, they end up cutting to Boyd and Sarah at the sheriff's station, and Sarah is wondering if they have buried Paula yet, which they have not, which of course, baby boy got a lot of other ish on his mind. We ain't got time for burials. But Sarah ends up volunteering, saying she'll do it and she'll find some people to help, and she ends up, telling Boyd, hey, you're doing your best. Because you can, like I said, I was feeling like Boyd was cracking up. Ish was about to spiral, because you could tell he was kind of having this defeated demeanor to him. Now, they end up cutting to Matthias at the shed putting the guns in his locker. And I thought the whole thing was so stupid. So, Reggie comes in. And I'm really trying to see like a Westeros map of this place, because where the hell is this shed in correlation to the greenhouse, in correlation to community house? First of all, how the hell did Reggie know Matthias was putting the guns in the shed? How did Reggie know Matthias was at this shed at this moment? Like, the whole thing just irked my nerves. But also, Matthias being so, like, having his guard down when Reggie pops up. First of all, baby, you hiding guns for a reason. Random folks in Colony House should not know where you're hiding the guns. That defeats the purpose of hiding guns. But also, the second Reggie walks into the damn doorway, you can clearly see something in his hand. Yo, I'm talking about clearly. Yo, I couldn't. This was so damn stupid. So Reggie comes in asking if Matthias wants some help. Matthias just, nah, I got it. Matthias put the gun in the little locker, turn around, and gets his throat sliced. Now, at the moment I was watching and this happened, even though this was stupid, I got kind of excited and thought we was finna get the massacre that I predicted, that, what was that guy named? Christopher? Was it Christopher, the guy from Victor's childhood, who was seeing the symbols that Jade is seeing? Remember, he went and killed everybody. Victor said he woke up, everybody was dead. That's what I thought Christopher was about to do. Because when Christopher slices old boy throat, he says, like, you just gonna get there before the rest of us. And remember, previous episode, Reggie went on a whole tirade about whether today, whether tomorrow, we all gonna die. So I'm thinking this is one of them situations, kind of like boy wife. Like, let you go ahead and die, but not boy wife, because she thought she was saving people, but you know what I mean. I thought this was a situation of, well, we all gonna die anyway. Let me just go on a psychotic rampage and just kill everybody. Just put everybody out their misery, because it's gonna happen anyway. That's what I thought was gonna happen. Do y'all think that's what happened? No. Which makes this even stupider. Okay, let's just jump ahead. Reggie wants a gun only to kill Boyd. That's it. He just wants to kill Boyd because that is the one person he holds responsible for Paula getting killed. Now that makes this scene with Matthias even stupider. Why kill Matthias? It was a million ways to get them guns. You could have got something and hit Matthias over the head and knocked him out and got the guns. Why kill Matthias just to go kill Boyd? If the only person you got your sights on is Boyd, why kill Matthias? That irked me. This scene, it irked me when it happened, but then it irked my nerve even more once we got to the end of the episode and saw that Matthias ain't killed nobody. He just, not Matthias. Matthias dead. Reggie ain't killed nobody. He only wanted to go after Boyd. That made this scene even stupider. There have been a lot of situations in movies and TV shows where you trying to get something and you just knock the person out. There was no need for Reggie to kill Matthias if his whole motive is, I just want a gun to kill the one person that I hold responsible for Paula. Y'all, this was so stupid. Now we end up cutting to Jade in the tunnels. Baby, Jade in the tunnels was hilarious. Jade in the tunnels was so funny. First of all, Jade was smart though. Jade gets this what is this thread string? It's like a super long, huge chunk wrapped around this little thing. He ties it to a tree and he carries the little thing with him so that he's kind of like leaving breadcrumbs so he can get out, right? But baby, the second Jay gets in like the tunnel, which when he first get to the entrance of the tunnel, he's just like, everything gonna be fine, trying to talk himself up. Baby, why he fall like into the tunnel? Baby, poor Jade. But Jade going through the tunnel, he see the ventriloquist doll and he screams like y'all, this was a good ass scream. This was a good scream. Jade was scared as hell. Baby, Jade screamed. You hear me? Like, everything about this was so goddamn hilarious. But what didn't make sense for me, Jade was making a whole lot of damn noise in this tunnel. And when Tabitha and Victor was in the tunnels, we had to be very quiet or we was going to wake up the monsters. So what happened to that whole line of thinking that we got to be quiet in the tunnels because this is where the monsters sleep? Because Jade was making a lot of noise. Now, they end up cutting to Boyd at the church. And child, I was like, yep, Boyd cracking up. He has the proverbial lashing out at God, cursing God scene. And just as he's yelling and saying, like, answer me, Donna walks in. And baby, Donna better than me, because I'd be like, boy, who you talking to? I'm like, boy, what is happening? But she ends up just kind of making a joke. And they end up cutting to Christy and Kenny. Now, I liked this episode very much, but it was a lot of stuff that I feel like some scenes felt very rushed, cut away too soon, and then other scenes felt too long and unnecessary, but whatever. We cut to Christy and Kenny, and Christy is laying next to her damn fiance, y'all, and Kenny walks in, and sits next to Kristen. She's just kind of like, is this it? Is this how this ends? And I really can't even remember the scene. She has some like melodramatic, sappy conversation about the moment she saw her fiance come off that bus. She started thinking that, you know, so everything had a reason or a purpose or yada, yada, yada. And Kenny goes into more melodramatic. Like, y'all, I just am not here. Like, let's get past the sappy, little, you know, slow conversations. This is the season finale. I wanted everything to just be up, up, up. But the gist of what Kenny was saying, because he brings up something his dad used to always say that he never really understood until now. But Kenny says, maybe we aren't meant to go home. Like, we're not the ones that are going to escape this place. Maybe, though, what we do will help lead the next people that come into town home, which I thought that was a very interesting theory or take, because we're doing all of this work with the expectation of all of us getting home, right? But it could very well be true that you do a ton of work and lay a foundation that doesn't necessarily get y'all home, but it could get other people home. Now, they end up cutting back to Donna and Boyd, and Boyd ends up telling Donna about everything that Sarah said, and how once those three die, then that's it. This thing just waits for people to go to sleep, and we end up like Paula. Now, Donna ends up telling Boyd that his son is getting married and Boyd should, you know, put this on hold, come be there for his son. But Boyd is like, I'm not giving up. And baby, Donna is like, nobody said nothing about giving up. Go support your son and the end of the world will still be here. Now, they end up cutting back to Jade in the tunnels, and we hear this Ankui. Y'all, I'm so sick of this goddamn Ankui. What is this? What is Ankui? What is these kids saying? Jade suddenly sees these dead kids laying on like these stone beds or something in a circle that he is in the middle of, saying Ankui. He looks up, and there's like an opening at the top of the cave with these, I want to say, tree branches that are intertwined together that makes, I think it was making the shape of that symbol that he keeps seeing. And when he looks down, the kids have disappeared, and he looks back up, and the opening and tree branches and symbol, that's gone as well. He came in a tunnel to get answers on this symbol. I don't know what answers we just got. The symbol connected to the dead kids? Y'all, I don't know. But I said I'm done theorizing and then speculating, so I ain't even finna try. But that's just what happened. Now, we end up cutting to Victor and Tabitha. And at first, Victor gets to a certain spot and he starts kind of panicking, like the tree should be here. These trees weren't here before. But it made me think of the fact that the trees have been moving, because just a few feet away, we find the tree that we are looking for. And Victor ends up saying that this is where he found his mother. He found her laying at this tree. He came looking for her after everyone was killed, right? Now, she never made it on this quest, right? She gets killed. We now know her, but he found her body. She never made it in the tree. And Tabitha is like, well, what do you mean in the tree? And Victor tells her this is a faraway tree. And she remembers Julie telling her that that's how Victor got her to safety. But Victor tells Tabitha that this is a special faraway tree. That's what his mother told him. Regular faraway trees can just take you anywhere. You never know where you're going to go. But this faraway tree in particular takes you to the tower where the kids are at. I will say it felt like Victor was holding something back, because when he's talking about what his mother said about this tree will take you to the tower, Tabitha says, and then what? And Victor is just kind of like, that's all I can remember. But it's something about the way he said it. The way I read this scene, I just felt like Victor was holding something back. I'm not sure what. I don't think he was holding anything back in like a sinister way. I don't think he, wants any harm to come to Tabitha, but I felt like there was something he wasn't, saying. But y'all, I started tearing up because Tabitha about to leave. She say thank you to Victor and they hug, and I'm about to, y'all. I dropped one little thug tip because Victor. Oh, my Victor, he done been through so much. Now, Tabitha ends up going into the tree and she comes out and she's in this forest and we see her looking at the tower, which is that lighthouse. The lighthouse that Boyd and Sarah saw when they was out in the woods. And they ain't never tell nobody they damn saw. And, y'all. I'm not even gonna keep harping on the fact that don't nobody talk. Now we end up cutting to Ellis and Fatima with Donna, and they're about to get married. And Ellis wants his dad there, and Fatima is just like, "Let's just go get your dad." But Ellis is like, "No." But Boyd does end up showing up, and y'all. Why was we getting married in our bedroom, child? Why was we getting married in our bedroom? This was a ghetto wedding. Why is we getting married in our bedroom? Like, I cannot. And this was one of those scenes that I was saying was too long. We did not need this long, sappy, going through them saying they vows, whatever the hell. But Fatima ends up asking Boyd to walk her down the aisle, which is really just walking her across her bedroom over to the window. Now, as they are saying their vows, Ellis ends up saying, "You are my light in dark places." And you can immediately see Boyd will spin. And I thought he was going to just run out the damn room and not say nothing. Like, I legitimately thought he was finna just run out the room. But Donna ends up peeping this and looking at Boyd like, "Where did you just go?" And Boyd is like, "I'm sorry, I love you." And he runs out the room. And Boyd gets the bright idea. Remember that, I think it's the same one. Remember when Boyd was in there with Martin and he had that torch that you light with the flames? He goes back to where he went that night in that little bed, back of that truck where Victor's little secret spot, and he gets that torch. And that's his bright idea. And now, this is why I said, on one hand, I think it was a little too quick and convenient of how Boyd got here. But on the other hand, I will say it makes sense because did I think of that lantern? No. But I was thinking at the moment we were there and Sarah was talking, there is something we need. Like, the music box is here, but in our realm, we can't see it. And then especially with Boyd saying this is beyond our understanding, I was feeling like this is some different realm because when Boyd was here and came out, suddenly the place just disappeared. So I don't think it's like completely far-fetched for him to be sitting there and hearing his son say that and then think about that that torch. I don't think that is completely far-fetched, but for a good narrative, a good story, we could have fleshed it out more. We could have put him on more of a journey of figuring this out. But honestly, the way it plays out, I enjoyed it just fine. Now, we end up cutting to Ethan and Jim. And they're having a conversation in the room with Julie where Ethan is like, if we die, will I get to see Thomas again? Will I get to see Grandpa again? And Jim tells him yes. So Ethan is feeling like, well, hey, maybe dying won't be so bad if I get to see Grandpa and, my little brother. Now, I kind of feel like this scene was unnecessary. We didn't even need this scene. I guess it's fine in general, but I don't know. I just have a different expectation for a series finale, especially a series finale of a show like this, where we just get a lot of build up and mystery and question. I feel like we could have spent our runtime, we could have utilized it a lot better. Like, let's just get to the ish. Now, we end up cutting to Boyd and Reggie. And this was, y'all, how in the hell? Okay, so let's say Reggie out there, he got the gun. How did Reggie know Boyd was all the way out here, far away from town, where Victor has this secret location with his truck? How the hell Reggie know this? And I'm not even buying that he followed Boyd from Colony House because he don't know nothing about them getting married. Him attacking old boy for them guns, that been happened. So he should have been in just looking for Boyd. How he know Boyd was out here? This irked my nerves. But Reggie pulls up. Boyd has the tiki torch in his hand. He sees Reggie, and Reggie, y'all, Reggie and his hysterics is so hilarious. He's just like, you did this, it's your fault. He cocks the gun, and he's just like, everything was fine until you went into the forest. Excuse me, sir, everything was, there was the wrong choice of words. There was the wrong, everything was not fine. But I also feel like Reggie came in on the bus. How do you know how everything was before Boyd went to the forest? Because by the time you pulled up with the bus, Boyd was already out in the, I don't know, it made no sense. But I didn't think this made any sense on Boyd's part. Somebody this hysterical, you pointing a dang shotgun at me. I'm not going to try and talk you down. I don't know. I got to try and figure something out. But Boyd tries to talk to him. And he's like, look, I know this not going to really make much sense to you, but I think this is the key to ending what is happening. Baby, Reggie just shoots him. And I was finna be so pissed off if Boyd was finna die. Reggie, yo dumb hysterical ass was literally about to cause everyone's death because Boyd is the only one with the answer with how to stop this. So if you kill him, everybody dead. Reggie. Now, I was disappointed. I was hoping Reggie was finna go on a murder spree, walk up in Colony House, shooting niggas like the Terminator. No, he just came out to Boyd, and Boyd gets shot in the shoulder, and he falls where his back is towards Reggie, and he pulls out his gun, and he's able to shoot and kill Reggie. And let me tell y'all, Boyd is a triple-double OG. Cause shot and all, baby, I would have had to pause on the tiki torch and take my ass to Christy to patch me up. But no, shot, hurt, bleeding, Boyd continues on to try to stop this whole mess. Now, Boyd ends up going to that area where, we found Martin and Sarah said the music box is at, and he's struggling. And I'm literally like, baby, is Boyd finna die? He's struggling to light this torch, but he is able to light the torch. And the second he lights it, we appear back where we first found Martin, and we hear the music box. Now, I thought this was interesting though. When Reggie comes to kill Boyd, he covered in blood. Maybe not covered, I'm exaggerating, but baby, it's blood on him. And Boyd just go ahead with the mission. I'm saying Boyd, you're not wondering who the hell he killed and why he got blood on him? But I guess we got bigger fish to fry right now. But I'm sure sitting here Reggie at Colony House, your son at Colony House, Reggie coming over here with a gun to kill you, and he got blood on him. Connecting dots for me, I would have had to run to Colony House to make sure everybody was okay. But this mission is more important, Now, my theory of feeling like nothing ever became of Martin saying, oh, when the music stops, something will come and there's something worse than the monsters. I have been feeling like the music done stopped and nothing happened, right? That's how I've been feeling, watching along. But now, of course, I understand the music never stopped. This place disappeared, and when Boyd had those worms in him, he kept seeing that music box. So I kept feeling like the music stopped and nothing coming. But no, that's not how it works. Martin was correct. The music box plays, and when it stops, something worse comes. And now we know that when that music stops, this thing that kills us in our sleep, that is what comes. That is what is worse than the monsters. So yeah, I had that whole thing wrong, and Boyd sees Mariel, Julie, and Randall chained up in the way he saw Martin. And when he run over to Julie, talking about, I'm gonna get you down, I'm gonna help you, I sure was sitting here like, nah, Boyd, don't you make the same damn foolish mistake and try and get this girl down out these chains. But no, he didn't. He knows from Sarah what he needs to do. Now, Boyd goes over to the music box and he is about to destroy the music box when his wife pops up. And I'm just saying, like, boy, you know good and damn well this not your wife. But I don't like how they did this only because it doesn't feel consistent. We have seen dead Father Cartry. We have seen dead Bartender Tom. Y'all, was there somebody else dead we saw that I'm not thinking of? But anyway, so now him seeing his dead wife, even though I didn't trust her the second we saw her in the RV, can we trust the dead people we see or not? I just feel like I need that to be consistent. Because you mean to tell me we can trust dead Father Cartry, we can trust dead Tom, but we can't trust his dead wife? Why? What's the difference? When we see the dead people, how do we know which ones to trust and which ones not to trust? I don't know. I just don't like how they did that because it just doesn't feel consistent. But hey, maybe dead Tom and dead Father Carter, we weren't supposed to trust them either. I don't know. Now, his wife ends up popping up and she goes into trying to convince Boyd that destroying the music box is not the way to go. But it felt more like a threat because she's talking to him about don't destroy the music box. If you do, it'll lead to everybody's death. People will be screaming in agony. It'll be like the most horrors you could ever imagine. And that's when all three of the people chained up start screaming. Like, why they ain't start screaming, baby, until you were talking to me about how people gonna die screaming? Like, it felt like a threat. But she started walking closer to Boyd, and I ain't like how he was letting her get close to him because I don't know. I just didn't know what was gonna happen in this moment. Like, we don't know what she finna turn into. She finna attack him, and she goes close to him and he moves away, and I was annoyed, like, baby, you moving away from the music box. But she goes to try to tell him because Boyd is like, wait a minute, so this evil just let you come in here for a chat with me, you know, kind of showing that he don't trust this. But she goes to try to tell him that he has it wrong. It's not fear that feeds the forest, it's hope. And she goes into, you know, hope was why you ran out and wasn't there to help me when I got killed. Hope is why you did X, Y, Z and these bad things happen. So she's trying to, you know, convince him, let the music box play. Now, Boyd ends up just being like, no, not falling for it. And he destroys the music box. Y'all, Boyd is back in the forest. And when I tell you, I love this damn scene. I love this scene. Boyd is back in the forest. You know, the place where Martin was has disappeared. And this felt like a Scarface moment. So like, Boyd is like, F you motherfucker. Like, you don't break me? And the way he said me, like, you don't break me? Like, I just love how he did that whole thing. But I was kind of scared in the scene because it just felt like it felt like something was finna happen. I didn't know if something was finna attack Boyd. I didn't know what was finna happen. Cause just the way he was like, yeah, F you motherfucker, like, you don't break me, it just felt like, so it felt like that scene in Deep Blue Sea when Sam Jackson was giving that speech in front of that little open thing of water and you just felt like something was finna happen. That's how this felt. Now, a dog ends up, and y'all, didn't we see this dog in the forest before? I can't quite recall, but I feel like we saw this dog in the forest before. I feel like, is this the dog that Boyd saw when he was here before, when he first saw Martin? But a dog runs over, starts barking at Boyd, and runs off into the forest. And all I could think was, Boyd, do not follow this damn dog. Take your ass back to town. Now, we end up cutting to Julie, Jim, and Ethan, and Julie, she woke up. We saw Julie, Randall, and Marielle all wake up when Boyd destroys the music box. And Julie and Jim and Ethan are in the living room. And Ethan goes to the front door, opens the door, and says how there's no more buzzing. The cicadas are gone. And I thought this was crazy. Jim is in the living room giving damn Julie water. And I'm like, we need to be trying to figure this out. Where were you? What happened? What do you remember? He should be wondering, why is this over now? Was your mom successful? Was Boyd we just chilling in the living room giving the girl water? I don't know, that was irking me. And when Jim goes to the door with Ethan, Julie's suddenly just looking around like, where's mom? And I feel like the second you woke up and didn't see your mama, you should have immediately been thinking, where's mom? Like, you woke up and your mother was not by your side with your dad. You should have known. I don't know. Now, I feel like I need the whole damn town to give Boyd his props. Because if Sarah pretty much saved the whole town. Because remember, if we didn't save the three, gotta stop the melody, we were all gonna die in our sleep. Sarah saved everybody, helped Boyd save everybody. Boyd has made the right decisions as leader. If Boyd would have followed Kenny over emotional ass, which you know what, I ain't finna do Kenny like that. She killed your dad. Okay. But if Boyd would have put Sarah in the box, the whole town would have been dead. Boyd would not have solved this by himself. He needed Sarah here. Like he said, Sarah is connected to this place and she's more valuable than to just kill her. But I need them to give Boyd his props as leader. Boyd is under so much mental pressure. People be pulling him from every side and direction, blaming him, mad at him. And Boyd be pulling through. Boyd be pulling through, child. Every step of the way, Boyd be making MVP moves. And I need the town to give him his props and stop treating Sarah like dirt. Because yeah, she killed them folk, but she done saved the whole town. Everybody would have been out. Now, we end up cutting to Tabitha walking in the tower. She's going up the steps. We see like kid toys on the steps, and we hear them damn kids saying, Aunt Cooey, Aunt Cooey. That is me getting on my nerve when they be saying that. And Tabitha is walking around. She's at the top of the lighthouse. She's looking out the windows, and that's when we see the boy in white. And the boy in white is like, I'm sorry, this is the only way. And he pushes her out of the window. Tabitha wakes up in a hospital. And at first, I was a little suspect because she tries to go over and open the curtains, but she stopped when the doctor walked in. I feel like, oh, that's so convenient. Y'all didn't let that girl open the curtain. Now, I don't know if this gonna mean something because I was trying to peep the name of the hospital and the doctor's name, but it ain't mean nothing to me. But maybe I'm thinking maybe those names gonna mean something. But she does get a chance to open the curtains and it looked like she in the real world. Did they leave all these loose threads but answer the overarching question of how to get home? Y'all, is Tabitha really home? For me, I feel like she really is out of the town and she really is in the real world, because if we believe the boy in white is here to help us and here for our good, where else could Tabitha be? I do not think that Boyd's wife was right. I don't think you just die and go home. I think Victor's mom was onto something, and going to this tower is our way home. I don't think you just die. I think you have to go to this tower and get pushed through that window, and that is how you get home. The doctor tells Tabitha that she fell off some cliff or something, like some hikers found her on a trail. So would Tabitha be able to get back to town? Are they gonna lock her up in a psych ward? I'm also wondering, did they ever tell us if Victor found his sister's body? They told us he found his mom's body. Victor did not remember he had a sister. He says the sister went out after the mom. So she went after her mom. The mom went to the tree to go into the little thing. So did the sister go through the tree? Is she in the real world? Is that the reason why they wrote it in where Victor gave Tabitha his lunchbox? Is the sister going to recognize that lunchbox and her and Tabitha going to be working together to try to get back to town to tell everybody how to get out? And I'm wondering what are the people in town going to think happened to Tabitha? And I don't need another damn reason for Jim to hate Victor. Because he going to be like, she went off with Victor. I could just see Jim being a whole a-hole about this. Now, this show is chaotic. I like this episode, but I was also dislike. I felt like when the show ended, my jaw was on the floor. Because I was like, what the? Tabitha home? Tabitha got out, Tabitha got free, but it's also frustrating. We don't really have any answers. And I don't even want to harp on we need to share information no more, because I'm thinking maybe we not meant to share information. Maybe we are supposed to be on our own little quest, like Ethan said, and that's how we go home. Because we had Jade on his own little quest, out in that tunnel by himself, not telling nobody where the hell he went. We had Tabitha on her own little quest, and we had Boyd on his own little quest. But then I feel like that can't be the way home, because then everybody don't get home, because everybody don't be going out trying to figure this stuff out. So I don't know. I said I was done theorizing with this show. Yeah, after 2 seasons, we still got a bunch of loose ends. We still have a bunch of little mysteries that they've thrown in that seemingly has gone nowhere. And even presumably Sarah's whole theory of how her brother was scared of cicadas, and the cicada, what that got to do with anything? I don't know. We did not need no 4-person wedding. We did not need all the little. I want them to just cut the damn romance. God damn. I don't know. It's getting on my nerves. It's too much. And I feel like, what's finna go on with Jade? What did he learn about the damn symbol? Because I ain't learned nothing, but hey, maybe I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I didn't get nothing from that. Do Julie and Randall and Marielle have worms in their blood? Because Martin had worms in his blood and he was in the same predicament as them. But I'm also feeling like, what time period was Martin from? Where was Martin's real body? Because Julie them had a real body laying in beds, in town, but they were also chained up here. So where was Martin's real body? I don't know. Where did Martin come from? How long was Martin in there? And it had to be before even Victor's lifetime, because Victor don't know nothing about this whole can't go to sleep thing. I don't know. That's not all really wrapped up and making sense for me. Let me see if there's anything in my notes that I didn't mention. I feel like if we trust the boy in white, then we have to trust that Tabitha is in the real world. But given this show, very well, Tabitha may not be in the real world. Maybe she just stuck somewhere else. When she looked out the window, it wasn't anything that I recognized. You know how you see a movie or a show and it's just certain recognizable things where you know what the city is? Child, I don't know what the hell she was. But we don't know if this is in her head, she imagining it. We don't know nothing. And that's how the story goes when we're dealing with From. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about the series finale? How have you felt about season 2 of From? I gotta say, I was over this show and I skipped a few weeks. I was done watching it and I only came back to it because some subscribers asked me to continue and finish the show. And I'm actually glad that I didn't I'm glad that I came back and finished the show, because I have actually enjoyed this season. I don't know, this season, like this show is so frustrating and it get on my nerve, but at the same time, I like this show. Thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.